Oops, you caught me at the wrong time here. Just getting set up here. Something's up with my chair. I think it's like broken or something. Anyways, how you guys doing? I am doing great. What did I do today? Well, my morning routine is very simple. I get up, I try to go outside and enjoy the beach there. I walk maybe like for about 45 minutes on the beach and then I jog back home. And this really puts me in a right frame of mind to start my day. And then um, first is my DMs. My DMs are usually full. So I have to sort out what DMs to message. I guarantee once again, you probably heard me say this, but I guarantee like a 48-hour window to get back to people my DMs. And yeah, this is primarily because I need to really sort out my DMs and really have to figure out what DMs to send first. And they're usually from clients who need help in this regard with questions. Like like I do a lot of consultation with primarily with clients in regards to like let's say if they heard back from a prospect. Let's say if I give them, okay, say this to a prospect but in your own words, and you feel comfortable saying this and stuff like that. So my clients write formulate their own DMs and hear back from possible prospects, and then they're just wondering, okay, so where do I go from here? I heard a response from a prospect, and is this okay to put? I'm just checking. And I mean, that's a great question. Maybe you want to phrase it this way, and then I just take them down step by step until they get that call booked, right? And I said, let's get that deal. I have a special motto that says, let's get this deal. Let's get this deal. So, or let's get you a deal, right? So it's kind of a inside kind of motivation kind of thing that we got going on among my clients. And so yeah, so primarily I just wanted to do this, um, just a couple things. um, of course, how I experience the snowball effect in my business, it's all explained in the description. What is a snowball effect? It's when you're using the right strategy. You got to be using the right strategy and working hard. But if you're using the wrong strategy, it'll never happen. Unfortunately, you know, I'm sorry, but it'll never happen if you use the wrong strategy. Of course, you're trying to learn as you go, and that's very common, right? When you first start in your beginners process of mastering LinkedIn, and you you're building your network, you're building relationships, but yet it just takes time, right? Um, but at the same time, you have to be cognizant of taking advice from the right people, right? And also, you got to be cognizant of working in the right direction, working hard step by step, but in the right direction, right? And you might be coming across a little bit too salesy, or maybe you might not be promoting your services enough. When I mean promoting, I don't mean like in your face salesy tactics, pressure. I mean like in a frictionless way, and that's really going to help you. You know, just just wrap your head around a frictionless way of selling. And here on LinkedIn, It doesn't involve spamming. It doesn't involve um, promoting your services every day or in your face and saying, book a chat now, book a chat now, book a chat now, book a chat now. And people get tired of that. I mean, that's why, that's why in my um, strategy, I never, first DM, I never say, hey, book a chat, you know? I know it might be convenient for you, or convenient to the person that's saying that, but I never do that. I try to get involved. I try to get to know the prospect first, and that's the ultimate way of booking a call with purpose. You know, and at first you may say, okay, that's going to save me time booking a call right away, right? But in essence, it's not, because if you book that call right away, you don't know their situation, you haven't spent time to get to know them, you haven't qualified them yet, and yeah, so it's kind of like in your face kind of strategy, right? And so this is like beginners things that beginners usually get caught up in doing, right? Is promoting, book a call, book a call, book a call, book a call, but then you have to earn the right for, or you have to earn the right for them to book a call with you, right? You have to earn their trust. You have to start off slow, right? And of course, working in in a good direction will actually allow you to experience the snowball effect, right? So I like from the this is how slow I am. Okay, this is look how slow I am. I'm going to tell you how slow I am at getting it and how slow I am at receiving the information, processing it. Out of my 3 years journey, I only reached the snowball effect of my business maybe around 8 to 10 months ago. Um, and that's constant leads, constant clients coming in, and so much so that I had to limit the amount of clients that I was working with at once, just because it was getting too hectic. I used to work with 13 clients at a time. Now I'm working with 8 clients at a time, and so yeah, it's just been a journey, you know, a hard journey. Those 2 years in a quarter, no, 2 years and 2 years and 3 months of just hustling, working, and then I started to get the hang of it, and then I started to make small tweaks. And it's so important when you're working with coaches, when you're working with coaches, or not as clients, but you as a client. Like I'm working with a coach right now. I'm his client, and when you're working with a coach, it's so important that you actually make your own strategy. The sooner the better. Because if you're copying templates from him, if you're copying what he says, you know, you're relaying his brand voice or her brand voice instead of your own, right? And this is so important, um, to realize this. And that is tip number one of reaching your snowball effect, is when if you have a right attitude about investing in yourself, if there's a coach that really stands out to you and you want to work with him, reach out to him, and keep in mind, everything he teaches you, you have to put into your own words, you have to put into your own voice, because that works for him, right, or her. They're getting clients and they're doing awesome. That's a specific strategy for him or her. Now you gotta find your own way. You gotta find a way that works for you. And that is key to have the snowball effect because people are attracted to you, right? And so just trying to find this balance is key, right? Like I've worked with coaches, again, me as clients, that I would never respond in the way that they do to DMs. Just for a practical example, right? And so when I was like copy pasting responses from a copywriting coach from specifically to the in the DMs, I was asking him sort of like advice on my DMs as well. I I looked at DM and say, hey, this is not me, that's him. So in reality, we have to really think about and pay attention to this. And so I'm well aware of this, and so like my clients get this, I'm always asking them, so did this sound like you? When I give them advice, especially in the DMs on how to do them, so did this sound like you? Make sure it sounds like you. Make sure you think about this and think about why I'm phrasing it this way. But at the same time, make sure that it's you. Tweak it a little to find your own strategy. Because when this happens again, and it will, because there's a pattern, right? Not that every prospect or every person that reaches out for you is going to ask the same questions or is going to act the same way. But over time, you see a pattern develop, right? And you can be better prepared to answer those questions in really formulating these answers that you have to give, or formulating even questions to get pain points, right? So it comes down to really finding your own voice, finding your own uniqueness, finding what you stand for, communicating that, communicating your struggles, and finding that balance, right? Between listening to others who are giving you advice, but at the same time, not losing the essence of yourself, right? Because you can lose your brand voice very, very quickly, you know, and and no one ever wants to do that, right? So that's tip number one. Tip number two, how I experienced the snowball effect in my business is really comes down to having a routine. Um, and don't burn yourself out. Having a routine and don't burn yourself out. Of course, you hear about content creators that work 10 hours a day and stuff like that. That works for them. If they want to do it, by all means, do it, right? Whatever. And some of them have like banging content, right? Like Jasmine, Alec, Luke Matthews, the power trio, right? Jasmine, Alec, Luke Matthews, and Laura Acosta. They're powerhouses, right? And you see Luke post and you see Jasmine post of them spending hours and hours in carousels, and that's great. I mean, they they really care about their audience. That's great, right? All the power to them. But in reality, I can't be spending that amount of time on a carousel, or I can't spend that amount of time on anything else in my business. I What I do with my business is I work 3 hours a day, including weekends, and sometimes four, right? And then I plan for the day for the next day. Like I have a wife, I have a 13-year-old boy. I like today I went shopping. I went all across town. Well, not all across town, but it's like 10 minutes away to to Walmart, and I went shopping. And this was in the middle of my LinkedIn working, right? Because we it was kind of emergency. We had no food in the house, so so I think that was emergency that came up. So it doesn't happen all day, but I plan for that. I plan for flexibility, right? For anything that might happen, right? So all of these steps are necessary for you to experience and keep on experiencing the snowball effect, right? And tip number three is mindset, 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 mindset. I used to quiver. I was suffering. I was having a hard time falling asleep. I was very stressed. I was um like 8 months ago when the snowball effect started to happen, and it wasn't so much a fear of failure. I knew that I can do it, but it's fear of more success. I'm like, what happens if I what happens if I get more successful? That fear seeped into me and made me question myself, made me relate, um, or made me. It's kind of hard to describe the feeling, but yeah, I mean, I just just remembering that time makes me a little bit emotional, a little bit. So yeah, it was tough. I was working, and I was really um, bit off more than I could chew, so to speak, and to my detriment. And I was neglecting my family, and I was in my room too much, just taking care of business. Um, and yeah, it wasn't a good thing at all. So much so that I needed a break. So I went to LA for vacation. I'm sorry. I always love Los Angeles for vacation. We have such a blast there. It's an amazing city, really. Um, I always enjoy it. There's Santa Monica. There's all the beaches. Not to mention, there's Disneyland for my 13-year-old son. And so yeah, we went to um, Disneyland. We went to well, a lot of places there, and I just needed a break from it all. And I was in the process of moving internationally, so to Mexico, where I'm right now. And I just needed a break from it all. So much so that I took a prolonged about five months break from LinkedIn, and with my clients still on the waiting list, and about 20%. Well, I had a waiting list about 3 months long, but around 10% of my clients asked for refunds, but all the rest stayed on the waiting list. Then back in May, when I started LinkedIn again, um, I picked up where I left off. But I mean, right now, like I said, I'm just spacing myself out, and you know, it's just like once when the snowball effect starts to happen, you start doubting yourself. You start these negative thoughts. You these all these things. You don't process it well, and you want to go get them. You want to get that deal. You want to go 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 go. But a much more relaxed approach will be beneficial, right? Pace yourself out, and if and if And if your ideal clients or your potential clients really appreciate you, and if you're at that point where you have a like a waiting list, the majority of them will stay because they're loyal to you, right? And so yeah, no pressure, no nothing. Of course, I say let's go get that deal, but to my clients all the time, but it's like more like in a relaxed kind of way, right? It's like, whoa, wait a second. You don't want to say that because it sounds salesy and stuff like that, right? So there's a right balance that is needed for that, for sure. Um, so really working up to that point where you experience snowball effect. After the snowball effect, I've heard from my clients that they've experienced it, but it starts to go away, right? And then another dry spell in your business, right? You just gotta keep on hyper criticizing your process, especially your sales process. People don't criticize their sales process enough, and it's so hard not to get your ego involved because let's say if you experience that snowball effect and you've been doing it for years, and your ego starts to get stroked a lot. You're like, well, what I'm doing is great. It's great. I mean, I don't need any advice from you, or I don't need any advice from anybody, right? I'm the completely opposite way. If you want to feel your ego, go ahead. Your ego is the size of the moon. Wonderful. Go. That's your deal. My deal is much more. I can learn from everybody. Whenever I'm in a conversation, I say, okay, what can I learn from this individual? He has, sure, he might be like earlier in the process of the LinkedIn journey than me, but what can I learn from him? He has different experiences. He has different um, visions. He has different dreams. I can learn from this person, really. He has different values, different beliefs. If he does, usually I like to connect with people with the same values and same beliefs and same kind of like process that they want in their business, and I'm drawn to those kind of people, right? And so yeah, and so experiencing the snowball effect. Number one, could really mean that you're doing the right thing. Experiencing the snowball effect, but then experiencing dry spells could really mean that you're not hypercritical enough and that you're not really taking anybody's advice on how to continue the snowball effect long term. And experiencing the snowball effect will really probably, perhaps, really, really break your mindset and really make you busier than you ever been. And keeping everything in its place, like I do now, is really helping me to relax about getting a client. And once you're relaxed, you see things more clearly. You see things, you see the strategy behind the strategy, just like Neo in the Matrix, right? Man, I would love to be Neo in the Matrix. Man, that was such a cool movie. But I'm not going to compare myself to Neo for sure. But you can be Neo, like in the Matrix, just seeing behind everything, seeing others make mistakes, and learning yourself from that. You know, I'm happy to say right now that if I see a person making a mistake on LinkedIn, I learn from it. You know, and I don't. I'm true to my convictions. I'm true to my beliefs. I believe sales should be frictionless no matter what. I believe that you shouldn't be offering anything, no booking links, no um no free calls, no nothing. First DM. I mean, unless they request it, right? Obviously, but just with connecting, just get to know the person, and work it out from there, right? So, um, but more often than not, once they get to know your process and once they get to know you, it's easier for them to become an ideal lead then, right? And of course, there's people that are never going to take your services and are never going to work with you, but they're supporters, and that's okay too. I mean, whatever it is, it is. You just gotta be willing to give advice to those who need it and to receive advice also, right? Both ways. It goes both ways, my friends. And it's a lot more easier to give advice than to take advice, right? And that's just human nature, where we have egos ever since we're babies. So those are my tips on how I experience and how you can experience the snowball effect, right? So another thing that I want to address is that I've been getting DMs recently about consultations. If I do consultations, like free consultations, the answer is no. I don't do free consultations right now because my schedule is jam packed for the next 2 or 3 weeks, just with onboarding clients and just with sales calls and unloading my low ticket offer. But I am going to be implementing a free consultation call about a free diagnosis of what I see that covers your profile or whatever you want, covers your profile, covers your DM strategy, covers your sales call strategy, whatever you want. It's going to be an hour long with my low ticket offer that's going to come out probably in a week and a half. And so, and then it's going to be for only Thursday because I can only afford a Thursday. So if you can do Thursday, that's good. If you can't, well, it's all right too. I mean, we'll see you around LinkedIn anyway. And then later on in the process, once my schedule gets a little bit more flexible, I'm going to um, put a link on my features section for this kind of service because like many people have been asking about it in the DMs, and so I don't want to leave you hanging at all. Just at this exact moment, I can't do it. I can't. I gotta keep everything in its place. I'm living in a beautiful place. I gotta enjoy it. I gotta think about my family. I gotta think about everything. I gotta think about LinkedIn activities. I gotta dedicate time, but I'd say in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or probably starting the last week of September or October, you'll see that link to my Calendly, but only for Thursdays because it's the only moment I have time, only for Thursdays. And so, yeah, it's exciting. I really feel like this is the a good move because I'm not over presumptuous in putting the link up because people have been asking for it. And also, I'm not over presumptuous with my low ticket offer because people have been asking for that. So I'm. This is um like just to help people and just to further support you and yeah, it's gonna be like mind blowing tips. I'm giving everything away. I know, I know it's kind of like crazy, right? And I'm kind of like apprehensive about it. I'm like, oh no, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm pushing through that fear of my strategy being out there and just doing it anyway, right? So yeah, so this is principally why I want to connect today, and hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll see you around LinkedIn. And thank you so much for listening. Oh yeah, and if you have any more questions about my low ticket offers, I know many people have been asking about my low ticket offers that are going to be rolling out, or anything at all that I can support you with. Please drop a comment down below and I'll get back to you within 24 hours. I'll try, or maybe 48 hours. Yeah, within 48 hours. Okay, guys, thank you so much and have a great right now. It's 12:17 my time. Um, awesome, guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.